everybody, it's Catherine from My Preppy Style, and I've got my glasses on today because I'm doing a vlog sort of video because I really just don't have the time to put together any sort of like lookbook or tutorial or routine or anything like that. So talking about this is something that comes very easily to me, and it's actually kind of, the reason why I haven't been making as many videos as usual. But the title of this video is a little misleading, How to Get Straight A's. It's more or less just kind of academic success. And I went to a kind of like presentation on academic success called Challenge Success a few nights ago. And they said there's a difference between being a good student and a good learner. And I think that's completely true. You can be a very good student and, do well and get a lot of good grades and have your teachers appreciate you. But just being that doesn't mean that necessarily you're a good learner and you're really grasping the information. So this is just going to be kind of responding to how to be a good student, which is a topic I think I have a bit of credibility on because currently I'm at that point where I do have straight A's going into my senior year, but we'll see. This semester is just like, senior is just hell, like, oh, wow. Okay, so up to this point, I have some credibility with this topic. But basically, what I think straight A's is good for is not to impress your parents or, do it for somebody else. I would say do it for yourself. And that's the motivation from inside of you is really going to be the only way it's going to be accomplished. Like incentives, working for, money or some sort of luxury that your parents give to you is not going to really prove useful in the long run. My aim was, if I do really well in my classes and don't slip up, I will put myself in the best position to choose whatever college I want. Whether that's a college that doesn't even care about your grades to a college that's like Harvard that like needs your grades to be perfect. Like, I just want to put myself in a position where grades would not be my obstacle to, grades would not be my obstacle to getting into a college or would not be my obstacle in getting where I want in life, because I think that would be really just a set down like, wow, I slacked off in freshman year and now I cannot do what I want to do. So I've put together some sort of little guide that you guys can go by. This would be most helpful to freshmen. I think freshman year is really, really important in establishing this kind of foundation. But if you're a sophomore or junior or even a senior, I should probably heed some of my own advice. But I would say the first thing you need to do with classes is choose the right ones. When it came to my classes, I did go for the higher lanes. My math lane was the second highest. I didn't go for the absolute highest because I knew that on top of the highest science lane and the highest English lane and, language and everything, it would just be too much to succeed in all my classes. So I choose the classes that I know I can do well in, but will still challenge me enough to the point I don't feel like I'm just sitting in class and learning nothing. That being said, I only took 2 APs junior year when most of my peers were taking 3 to 4. And I don't regret that in the end because I did really well my junior year and it was not the hell that most people say junior year was for me because I chose the right classes that I wouldn't be completely disturbed by. Along with that, you can challenge yourself and you can take 3 to 4 APs, but I don't think that would be the road to getting straight A's. And that is totally fine. Getting a B in a class just because you challenge yourself is nothing to be ashamed of, and there are times where I think back like maybe I should have like loaded up more, but if you want to do well, you need to choose classes that aren't out of your realm of succeeding in. Along with that, teachers are really important. And my school, it's incredibly difficult to kind of select for the teachers you want, but at your school, if there's some way you can change classes to get a better teacher, always go for it. Because in my eyes, teachers are crucial in you understanding the information, doing well in the class, and if they're a disorganized teacher, it's going to be more difficult for you to establish how to get an A, if you understand what I mean. Like, it's very easy to get an A if the teacher has their expectations set out and you know exactly what you need to do to meet those or even surpass those. It's like my physics teachers right now, she is a wonderful woman, she's very nice, same with my calc teacher, but neither of them really teach me well, and that's resulting in me struggling a little bit more than I would if I had some of the teachers my peers do. It honestly matters a lot. I lucked out a ton with my teachers junior year, and it proved to be very, very helpful. So do not just undervalue your teachers. They're actually very, very important in you getting the grades that you desire. Number 4 is sleep. I numbered these, but I mean, I'm not really going with numbers. Sleep. I'm sitting in my bed right now, and I lay in this bed for at least 7.5 to 8 hours every night. And that's without fail. I've never pulled an all-nighter. I don't think that those are successful. You may think that they're successful, but in reality, you're not even doing good work. I took AP Bio last year, so I know my stuff, and basically your brain's producing chemicals past 10 p.m. that are inhibiting you from doing your best work. Your brain's telling you to go to sleep, and you're not going to be functioning at the high level you think you're functioning at. That being said, if you do have to stay up late to get work done, which I do not suggest, and there's ways around that I will talk about later, I would say pulling all-nighter for a test, never. That's horrible. It's not going to work. For an essay or a project, do what you got to do. That's all I'll say. Time management, and this goes along with self-control. Time management is a lot of people's downfalls. Procrastination is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's just the high school mindset. It just becomes a natural predisposition where everyone's just thinking, hey, I'll just procrastinate, and that's what everyone does, and it's fine because everyone does it. And I really did not procrastinate for probably the first 2 to 3 years of my high school experience, and I really sat down and did everything. I think the key to not procrastinating is to actually fill your schedule. Fill your schedule and have it the same every week so that you know you have swim practice from 3 to 5 every day, and then on Mondays you have youth group from 7 to 8, and on Thursdays you have violin lessons from 6 to 7. And then that way you know, like, in those days you only have 2 hours in between swim practice and violin or swim practice and youth group, and those 2 hours you have to cram all your homework in and just get it done, and there's no way you can be distracted. And I think, like, when I was in basketball, the basketball season, I actually was way more productive with my work, because when at school I would even do homework during my classes, homework during my prep, homework, you know, in between, like, on the drive to games. Like, you just become so much more efficient because you know you have no time. Versus if you get home on Monday and you say, oh, Monday's my free day, I have nothing to do, you go home, you get on Tumblr, you get on YouTube, you get on Facebook, and eventually it's 5 o'clock and you've been at home for 2 hours and you're like, why haven't I started anything yet? So, that is kind of me right now. So what I've installed on my laptop is an app called Self-Control, and I will link that down below. It's completely free. It's not any sort of malware or virus or anything. It's just an app that plugs into your browser. And what it does is you can type sites into it that you just get distracted on. So if you know you go to Facebook a lot when you are bored with your homework, or you know you go to Tumblr, you type in all the URLs you do not want yourself to go to, and then it'll save that, and then you tell it how long you want to be blocked from those sites. So you can do 15 minutes, or you can do 2 hours, or any period of time in between that. You can turn off those sites, so you can still use your laptop for essays and research on books, but you do not get distracted. And that, honestly, when I do that, I find myself that I have an extra hour at 8 o'clock at night that I'm like, what? How do I have this hour? And that hour I can spend going to those sites, or practicing my instruments that I never get to practice, or thinking of YouTube ideas, which doesn't happen a lot, I'm sorry. So I highly suggest plugging that app. Even though you don't think that you're doing it that much, actually I find myself, though I know the app is on, I'll still try to go to the sites, and then I'll be like, wow, I just went to that site even though I know I couldn't use it. Like, what am I doing? I need to get back to my work. So time management works like that. Next thing I'll say is make lists. I have a reminders section of homework, and I can organize things by priority, and I think lists are really, really, really important to maintaining efficiency, and I really just enjoy clicking off the checkbox to my, checking off the box in reminders to say I've done something. Because if you don't keep your lists available of what you have to do and what's left to do and what you're halfway done with, you're just not going to get things done. I'm in college app season right now, and I have a calendar, a tangible calendar, I don't know why I'm pronouncing that weird, calendar that's hung up on my door, and I have all my due dates written out. That way I can, every day that goes by I put an X and I realize, oh, I only have 2 weeks left before this app is due, I need to get started on it. I think lists are such a tiny little thing to do, such a tiny, easy thing to do, and it's just it increases your organization tenfold, and you will just do so much better. Next I'm going to talk about the biggest part of just getting straight A's. The rest of these things are just kind of about being a student. This is really about what you need to do to just cruise through your high school experience or your middle school experience and really do well. Above and beyond, as far as work goes, as far as test goes, as far as engagement with the teachers goes, above and beyond is your goal. I find that a lot of students kind of look at me and say, you know, how are you doing this well? Like what? Like they don't see me kind of doing the work, but I in class am doing more sometimes than other people. For example, in English class, we'll be discussing essay topics, and as people are spouting out and brainstorming ideas, I'll be writing them all down. And when I'm going through the book, I'll be annotating it, even though annotations were not asked for by a teacher. I'll be bookmarking things and sticky noting things and writing the ideas down as I'm going through. Because what happens is people don't do that, they don't value that, and then what happens is they end up the night before the essay's due and they haven't really done anything for it yet and they scramble. Or for tests, kids do not understand what a test is. They're like, I should have done well on that test, why didn't I? I studied for 2 hours last night. Like, yes, 2 hours studying is impressive, that's very good, but it's how you studied. You need to not only just give what the teacher's given you, but go beyond that. If the teacher gives you a review guide, do that review guide like it's a test and don't look at your notes. And then what you need to do is go to the textbook and do its review section. Go over practice problems from every single homework, redo every single homework you've done. And yes, that takes time, but if you're doing time management, you'll have the time to do that. Your teachers put out expectations, and they're pretty much in the middle. They don't really have super high expectations for you. And you can exceed them if you just do more work than is asked of you. And yes, it's very, very difficult to have the motivation to do that, but if it gives you a lot of confidence when you realize that this work is paying off, and for me, it really, really did. And there was a point in math in sophomore year where I literally was just cruising on like 100% on each quiz and test because I was getting the material in class, asking questions in class. If you don't get it, ask questions. There's no shame in asking a question. Your teacher may make you, bad teachers will make you feel stupid for asking simple questions, but do not feel bad for asking questions. It's what you need to do to get your work done, and in the end it's going to help you out, and so the teacher can't really, demean you for asking questions if it actually helped you. Engaging yourself with the teacher. There are usually periods of time at school where, like we have tutorial, you can go after school on Tuesday and get help from the teacher. And they'll often be busy during that time, but if they're busy during that time, make a time with them to go sit down with them or go look over your test one more time. Building relationships with your teachers is really, really great and can help you all out with getting straight A's. Maybe you can negotiate for a few more points on a test, or you will feel more comfortable asking questions about a project. But basically, get clear information on everything. Sometimes kids think on a project, oh, we just need to type up 2 sentences about this. But no, maybe the teacher wants you to type up 2 sentences that have a lot of vocab words in it and have a lot of clear definitions. You don't know until you ask. So asking, you should never feel ashamed for asking. Basically, there are always opportunities to go beyond what is asked of you if you just look out for them and find them yourself. And it may feel like you're doing nothing, but it will pay off. Like, it did for me, and I see other kids around me doing kind of the same thing, and it does for them as well. The last topic I'm going to talk about is cheating and comparing yourself, because what happens if you strive to be a top performer and get straight A's and have this, mindset of I need to be perfect, is that you get under a lot of pressure and you feel like if you don't have time to go above and beyond, you may feel the pressure to cheat. One of the most common types of cheating I see is after another period has taken a test, you'll go ask those kids, hey, what was on the test? What was the hardest part? What did you think of it? That does not matter. That does not matter. It's not in your best interest, and it may feel like it is so that you can study those things, but listen, the teachers are not dumb. Some of them are, but for the most part, they're not dumb, and my bio teacher, for one, would know that kids did that, and she would take out those sections that weren't hard and put different ones in them. So you spent all that time studying those things that you thought were going to be really hard on the test. They're not even on the test at all, and you just wasted your time when you could have been studying the entire spectrum of topics and preparing yourself better. Really, what you need to be doing is not learning for the grade, it's learning for the material. grasp the material and get the material, and the grade will come with it. Don't just put yourself in a good enough position to, scrape by for the grade. Really, really just try to get the information into you, and especially for tests, just do not ask people what happened in the test or what was going on in the test. It's just not even important. I promise you. It's really just dumb. And when people ask me that, I honestly just don't even respond. They say, I don't know how the test went for me. I don't know. And honestly, sometimes it's better to do that, because that way, if you don't think about the test too much, first of all, you can't do anything about the test after it's over. And if you tell other people what was on the test, it might help them, and their class is going to do better than yours, and you're going to look worse, and it does not help anyone, honestly. Just do not share how the test was. Not to be selfish or whatever, just to be smart, okay? And then comparing yourself is rough, because everyone is a different student, and like I said, there are kids that go above and beyond, and you may not even notice that, and you'll be saying, why are they getting A's in all their essays? Why are they doing so well on these tests? Why are they ruining our curve? And it's probably because you're not looking out for those things that they're doing more intensely than you are. And even if you don't see any of those things and you look carefully, you don't know what they do when they go home. Maybe they have 6 hours after school to do their homework when you have 1.5, and you can't focus that much. So just don't compare yourself, because you have no idea what their academic life is like. You just don't. And just, you have your own path. It's made for you. Don't worry about what other people are doing, because they're, in the end, not going to affect your path at all. So that was a lot of talking, and I talked really fast, and I just cruised through all those topics, but honestly, I have to get back to work, and you should get back to work if you just watched this video. So, take my advice, or don't take my advice. It's up to you. I am just saying, from a kid that currently has 4.0, that is what I think helped me get to this point. Any questions down below? Again, practice what I just preached. Ask questions that might help you. And I will be happy to answer them. This is a topic that I am passionate about and willing to answer anything about. So have a great day, go do your work, excel in school, have fun. Cather out.